Hello everyone, it's Steve Howard here, Project Manager for the Raglan Wastewater Treatment Plant Consent Application Project. So this is just an April update that I'm going to present with Cara McNutt helping as well. So I just wanted to go through several steps and just update everyone on where we are at with the project. First, I'll go over the treatment optioneering, go to the land securement progression, and then maybe just a quick talk on next steps as well. So first, the first point, treatment upgrade. So at the moment, there's a challenge that's been ongoing during the warmer months with a high total suspended solids in the effluent due to algal growth from our current process. So the hope was that there would be a progression of a final consenting methodology for treatment. It's got to a point where there really should be some immediate action. So by the end of this, so that the intention now is just to do an intermediate stage with a very basic principle of treating the wastewater with some conditioning through coagulant, getting a tertiary filter onto the back of that, and then having a backwash system for the tertiary filter, and this will bring the TSS with the existing treatment back into alignment with the resource consent requirements. And again, it's really a key thing would be that this treatment train would form part of a final consented long-term treatment as well. So the next step with this is, I mean, at the moment it's still engineering, design phase, etc., and there has to be business cases made for the works and regulatory discussions with WRC for this. Again, this is a very standard process, and it would really, it's really the time to do it now. So I guess this is stage one, and it wouldn't be the final stage. That would be the long-term stage that better suits the best practical option, which means it'd be a consentable upgrade where the treatment would suit the discharge solution as well. So there has been some optioneering on that as well, and it's sort of there's lots of balancing and multi-criteria analysis to find a sweet spot, at least to even to start the discussion. So the advice we have been receiving and we're working through more fully now is that a retrofit to the existing pond methodology would be useful, and it would be useful for whatever the discharge solution arrives at. Presently, we have an aquamat system which creates a media for in aerobic conditions, and it uses 6 ponds, etc. This would be a good time with this consenting stage to change that and upgrade it to a more robust system where it would lessen the nutrients, an alternative way to remove sludge, and it'll be more suitable for the likely discharge to land treatments that we are really investigating now. I've just put a small, just a 3D drawing of what it would look like, and it would take one pond, another pond for some sort of balancing. But again, after that, with the existing deep ponds that are already on the site, it really does create an optimum scenario for winter storage of treated wastewater. Earlier on in the project, it's always been discussed that winter is the problematic time. There's water everywhere. The ground doesn't take it. No one wants it for reuse. Where does it go? And the discussion at that point was that theoretically, large ponds created on farms similar to 90-day ponds could be used for the treated wastewater. If you're able to use the existing infrastructure with deep ponds that we have on the designation site, that's really is the best use of those ponds in the land. So this SBR system would complement that. Again, key query, does it lock in a discharge solution? No, there's a lot of maneuverability with an SBR system. It's more really sort of represents modern day thinking. You can tinker around with the nutrients, etc., and add things onto it, add different treatments onto it. Again, it can be suited to wherever you meet with the discharge solution. There's been discharge solutions have already been discounted. We're still sitting on the public and the private land discharge and others, and they're going to have different characteristics in treated wastewater that they receive. So there is ability to maneuver with this system. The next step will be just some more internal engineering refinement with our project engineers and others, bringing it to the government governance board and council, key stakeholders in Hapu and WS and the regional council for discussion, just presenting something for everyone to understand, react to, refine. We're working and listening with all these key partners again, but just to start somewhere, it's good to bring something to the table. And the technical advice would be that this best suits the project as it complements subsurface drip irrigation. So again, we're sticking to the core principles that were established right at the beginning of the project, and that's taking a long list to a short list. Having what we know now, we're able to tweak that optioneering, and it's just fully recognize that you wouldn't retain the existing sort of Aquamat system. Aquamats have outlived their useful life now, and it's time to really bring the treatment up to a better standard for discharge to land and co-mixing with natural waters. So the land options included a public option and a private option. The public option, really, we're looking at the Winery Reserve. That really is a large farmland that was always considered as logical, and that has the older clays in it, which aren't best used they're not the best soils for subsurface drip. Land 2 was on private land. We would actually you'd be searching and establishing, or you'd be securing the deep loamier soils, where these are the soils that when you put a spade in during winter, you take off that first layer and it's still dry underneath. They have an excellent drainage presence and can really take a lot of water, even in the winter you can apply. So that's the amended sort of shortlisters that I'm proposing. Again, with these areas and the treatment that I explained, with the existing treatment based on the nutrient load, you'd be looking to secure 24 hectares of good loamy soils and 42 hectares for the future flows for a growing raglan. With the enhanced treatment, say the SBR, you're taking nutrients out. You can lessen the area's need, which makes it more workable to find a land discharge solution. So I'm just going to give an update on the subsurface drip irrigation land discussions that we've had, and we've just had some great discussions with the Raglan farming committee and others, and really appreciate all the support and ability to cover the project with them. With the image below, I've basically just shown the veins of the two different areas that we have been focusing upon. Where it just says Law Road and Mangatafu Road, this is the areas that we're looking at, the deeper loamier soils. The other areas up top are the clayey soils, particularly Winery Reserve. There's different considerations needed for each between the better soils and the loamy or the clayey soils. Both are useful for the project. It's just the ability to secure them and actually get this moving. So again, I'll just reiterate or maybe go over the Winery Reserve theoretical concept, and here it is. It's just if you've had a walk over and looked over, you might be able to imagine that there's some hills areas there. I've got them as area C. Area B, that would be outside of any sort of existing activities. It's just paddocks and some walkways through through the reserve. There's some greater plans as part of the reserve management plan. A key feature here is a gully that I've called WR, and it's sort of a yellow area that could serve as a really useful part to to get water, to get treated water to ground through sandy soils and allow for something that could be acceptable to hapu. When you consider the Winery Reserve theoretically as an option, it could be very, very useful in combination with other areas that can be established for nutrient uptake, and particularly in winter, having an alternative to the point source discharge, getting it to sand somewhere down here, which is done in a manner that avoids any adverse environmental effect, which there'd be lots of studies about. It could be itself be a standard option if the Scully area was used and environmental studies supported it. Again, this is theoretical. There's a lot to it, and so it was never ever thought that you could just immediately charge into this. It is a big leap and something that really would need to be covered very, very strongly with existing key partners and the wider community. The existing key stakeholders, etc., have known, and I mean this has been part of the discussion since the project started. But to actually progress it, there was a real need to bring the theoretical messages up to our governing bodies, including the council and the Waters Governance Board. So it's just been an update to these groups as happened this year, and again, it was the support and principle was given on the just like investigations and working toward a working toward establishing a discharge solution that meets the ethos of the wider Raglan and hapu. But yeah, but again, the key message is take it to the people, listen, and just see how this would be received. That's the key thing. So again, it was acceptance and support for the process of engagement with the wider groups and the whangaroa community. Just expressing on how co-utilisation of the public reserve could contribute, and there's other parts in New Zealand that do it, so that could be easily demonstratable. But no, every place is different, and that's just part of this project and makes it interesting. So another key thing here would be there's a Reserves Management Act that exists. You can it would need close adherence to that, which is just ensuring that the primary use of the reserve would be retained and not lessened in any way, preferably enhanced, which would have to be presented in a business case. So again, this is just information sound bites. Does it mean that these are public land is destined to be what we land on? No, we are still working through the other options, which is just finding a willing partner with loamy soils to either to be able to establish subsurface drip on that land. The real key things are now that we're thinking about lower areas of land that could suit a discharge. So we just have to persevere with these discussions, and I think everyone just recognises that it's just it can't present everything on a discussion like this, but we are working really, really hard toward that. So hopefully this just provides an update, and you can listen to it and watch it. Please feel free to send me an email. You'll find my email address at the top of this one. My phone number's within the website as well, so just give me a call, etc., and we'll be taking it to a key stakeholder meeting very, very soon, and everyone's invited to that as well, so please let me know. Cool, I'm going to sign off, so thanks for watching. Bye.
That's great. Thanks very much, Stephen.
Cool.
In addition to that Winery Reserve work, there has been a lot of work happened, which Steve's touched on with the private landowners as well, but obviously we can't share that at this stage, but there's plenty happening in the space. So thanks very much, everybody.